All right, so you want to dive into Stephen Hawking's predictions about what's in store for humanity?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so we're going deep on this one. Looking at this video from the YouTube channel, it's called Adri U, Mr. and Mrs. Gao.
Okay.
They do a lot of really interesting deep dives into scientific and philosophical topics.
Cool.
And this one is all about Stephen Hawking and what he thought about what's going to happen to humanity.
Right, yeah.
And I mean, just to give folks context, I mean, the guy was an absolute genius.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Diagnosed with ALS at 21,
Mm.
given 2 years to live,
Wow.
lived another 55 years.
Like, what?
Yeah, talk about defying the odds.
It's incredible. Yeah, he was the medical marvel for sure.
Totally.
And on top of that, he revolutionized our understanding of the universe.
Right.
I mean, especially when it comes to black holes and cosmology.
Yeah, like it's hard to wrap your head around it.
Totally.
Battling a debilitating disease like that.
Right.
And at the same time, just exploring like the hugest mysteries of the universe.
Yeah. But it gets even more interesting because Hawking actually believed that humanity could face extinction
Oh, wow.
within the next 100 years.
Yeah, that's the big prediction that they explore in this video.
Yeah. And it's kind of unsettling to think about.
Oh, for sure.
Like, even with all of his accomplishments, it seems like this threat of extinction really weighed on him.
Yeah, definitely.
So, okay, let's get to the specifics.
Okay.
What did he see as like the biggest threats to our existence?
Well, according to the video, he identified 3 major threats.
Okay.
Artificial intelligence, genetically modified superhumans,
Okay.
and hostile extraterrestrial life.
Whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
Each one of those is like a sci-fi apocalypse movie just waiting to happen.
Oh, right.
And, given Hawking's own work with AI, I can't help but wonder if that made his concerns even more,
Oh, yeah,
deeply felt.
definitely. I mean, he wasn't just theorizing about AI. He was actually like working with it.
Right.
So he had a really deep understanding of its potential dangers. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's break down each threat, starting with AI.
Sure.
And this feels especially relevant now
Oh,
with things like ChatGPT, becoming so commonplace.
right.
Like, didn't some experts even predict that AI could reach human-level intelligence by 2029?
Yeah, that's been a prediction that's been floating around for a while now.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is that Hawking was saying this stuff, years ago,
Yeah.
like way before AI was as advanced as it is now.
Right.
He really saw the potential for it to, like, surpass human intelligence and maybe even, turn against us.
And it's not like he was predicting that some evil genius would program AI to destroy us or anything, right?
Right.
It was more like AI would just become so intelligent that it would see humans as,
Obsolete or a threat.
right, like almost an inconvenience.
Exactly.
Wow, okay. So that's both fascinating and terrifying.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next potential existential threat.
Okay.
Genetically modified superhumans. I mean, this sounds like something straight out of a, like a dystopian novel.
It does have a very, like, sci-fi feel to it,
Yeah.
but it's based on, real advancements in gene editing technology.
Right, and so what Hawking was concerned about was that this technology could be used to create a class of superhumans.
Exactly.
Like people with enhanced, physical and cognitive abilities.
Yeah, and then what happens to everyone else?
Right.
What happens to the people who haven't been genetically modified?
Are they going to be,
Left behind.
outcompeted, subjugated?
Yeah, it's a scary thought.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it creates this whole other level of social stratification and inequality.
Absolutely.
Wow. It's almost ironic, though,
What's that?
considering Hawking himself lived with, such profound physical limitations.
Right.
Did he ever talk about his own experience in relation to this prediction?
Yeah, he did, actually.
Hmm.
He believed that his own challenges were kind of a gift,
Interesting.
that they forced him to really focus on his intellectual pursuits. He saw a lot of beauty and value in just the diversity of human experience,
Wow.
even, in its imperfections.
That's a powerful perspective.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the technological advancements themselves.
No.
It's about how we use them.
Right.
And the potential unintended consequences that they could have on society.
Exactly. He was really pro-humanity. And he wanted us to think critically about how our choices today could shape the future of our species.
Okay, so we've covered AI and genetic engineering.
Right.
Now let's dive into the one that always captures my imagination.
Okay.
Extraterrestrial life.
Aliens.
Yeah, aliens.
Yeah.
Hawking believed in aliens, right?
He did. He did.
Huh.
He said that based on just how vast the universe is
Right.
and the laws of probability,
Mhm.
it's highly likely that life exists beyond Earth.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, just statistically speaking,
But
the odds are pretty good.
Yeah.
So if he believed in aliens, then what was his concern about contact with them?
Yeah.
Like, was he envisioning a full-blown alien invasion?
Not necessarily. I mean, he acknowledged that there could be friendly alien civilizations out there,
Okay.
but he also warned about the potential dangers of encountering a more advanced and potentially hostile species.
Right.
He even talked about the dark forest theory.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the idea that advanced civilizations might choose to stay silent and hidden because they're afraid that revealing their presence could lead to attack.
So basically, keep our heads down and hope they don't notice us?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, that is some chilling stuff.
Yeah,
But if all these threats are looming,
right.
did Hawking offer any solutions?
He did.
Okay, because it feels like he's just painting a bleak picture of humanity's future.
No, he did offer a solution.
Okay, what is it?
And it was probably his most ambitious and controversial prediction.
Okay.
He said we need to explore space
Okay.
and establish colonies beyond Earth.
So abandon ship, literally,
Yeah, basically.
and find a new home among the stars.
That's it.
Bold move, Stephen.
Yeah, he saw it as a necessity, though,
Really?
a way to ensure the long-term survival of our species.
Huh.
He thought that by spreading out beyond Earth, we could kind of mitigate the risks
Okay.
posed by any one of these existential threats.
And he believed that space habitats, rather than colonizing planets, might be the better approach.
Right.
That's a fascinating concept.
Yeah, he argued that space habitats would give us more control
Okay.
over the environment
Mhm.
and, the ability to create multiple self-sustaining ecosystems.
Yeah, when you think about it, it makes sense. We could custom design these habitats to meet our specific needs.
Right.
And, even move them if necessary.
Exactly.
It's like taking our destiny into our own hands.
That's what he thought.
Wow. But even if we could do all that,
Yeah.
that brings up another question.
What's that?
Who gets to go?
Right.
I mean, are we going to have a lottery system?
Mm.
Are we going to prioritize scientists and engineers?
Mm.
Or is it just going to be, another playground for the ultra-wealthy?
Right. That's one of the biggest challenges we would face.
Yeah, and it raises some serious questions about fairness and equity and the very nature of humanity.
It does.
This is getting really deep.
Yeah.
I think we need to take a break.
Okay.
We'll pick up this conversation in the next part of our deep dive,
Right.
where we'll explore some more of these potential solutions to these existential threats and what they mean for you and me right here, right now.
Sounds good. Man, we've been talking about some pretty heavy stuff.
I know, right?
Extinction level events,
Yeah. Yeah.
leaving Earth behind,
Mhm.
and maybe even encountering other civilizations out there.
It's a lot to process.
It,
But it's interesting because when you think about it, Hawking wasn't just some,
right?
doomsayer shouting from the rooftops.
No.
He was approaching these issues from a very scientific perspective.
Absolutely.
And he obviously cared deeply about humanity's future.
He did. He really did.
Yeah.
His predictions, while, often pretty stark, were really grounded in scientific reasoning
Right.
and a desire to kind of push us to confront these challenges head on.
Yeah.
It wasn't about paralyzing us with fear,
Right.
but more about empowering us to take action.
Okay, so let's talk about action.
Okay.
What can we actually do about these threats?
Right.
Is there anything that, we as individuals can do to make a difference?
I think awareness is a huge first step.
Okay.
Hawking's work has really brought these existential threats
Yeah.
into the public consciousness,
Right.
and that's a big deal.
Okay.
The more we understand these challenges, the better equipped we'll be to address them.
That makes sense, but awareness alone isn't enough, right?
No, of course not.
We have to translate that awareness into action.
Exactly. And that action can take lots of different forms.
Okay.
It depends on your interests and skills.
Right.
For example, if you're passionate about technology,
Yeah.
you could get involved in the ethical development of AI.
Okay.
Advocate for transparency and safeguards.
Yeah, I can see how that's really important.
Right.
We don't want to stifle innovation,
No,
but we also don't want to create something that could ultimately harm us.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
about finding that balance.
Right.
And, if you're more interested in policy and governance,
Yeah.
you could push for regulations on gene editing technology
Okay.
to prevent misuse and ensure equitable access.
It feels like these issues are so huge and complex, though.
They are.
how can any one person really make a difference?
Right.
I mean, it's not like I can single-handedly stop AI from becoming super intelligent or,
Right.
prevent alien contact.
Yeah, it's true. These are global challenges,
Yeah.
and they require collective action,
Uh-huh.
but individual choices still matter.
Okay.
Every time you support a company that prioritizes ethical AI development,
Yeah.
or you vote for politicians who understand the importance of regulating gene editing,
Right.
you're contributing to a positive change.
So it's about being, conscious consumers and informed citizens, making choices that align with our values.
Exactly.
And the kind of future we want to create.
Right. And, don't underestimate the power of just talking about these issues
Oh.
with your friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
The more we raise awareness and have these conversations, the more likely we are to see real change.
I like that. Starting with conversations.
Yeah.
It feels a little less overwhelming than trying to solve all the world's problems on my own.
Right.
Okay.
And, sometimes just having these conversations
Yeah.
can lead to unexpected solutions or inspire new ideas.
Okay. I'm feeling a little more empowered now. But let's talk about that other big solution that Hawking proposed.
Okay.
Space colonization.
Right.
It's such a fascinating concept, but it also feels incredibly daunting
Yeah.
and expensive.
It would be.
Is it really a realistic possibility?
I think it's a long-term goal,
Okay.
and it would require a level of global cooperation and technological advancement that
Yeah.
we've never seen before. But I wouldn't dismiss it as pure science fiction.
Okay.
We've already seen so much progress in space exploration.
That's true. Yeah, especially with private companies like SpaceX
Right?
really pushing the boundaries.
Exactly.
And it's pretty exciting to think about the potential benefits of space colonization.
It is.
Not just in terms of survival,
Right.
but also, scientific discovery and pushing the limits of human ingenuity.
Absolutely. It could open up a whole new chapter in human history.
Yeah.
Exploring new worlds, harnessing new resources, and maybe even encountering other forms of life.
But even if we could overcome the technological and financial hurdles,
Right.
there's still the ethical dilemma of who gets to go.
Right.
Would it be a lottery system?
Mm.
Would we prioritize scientists and engineers?
Yeah.
Or would it just become another playground for the ultra-wealthy?
That's a question we'd have to grapple with.
Yeah.
Long before space colonization becomes a reality.
Right. It can't just be about escaping a dying Earth and leaving everyone else behind.
Of course not.
It needs to be about creating a better future.
Right.
For all of humankind.
Exactly. It's about expanding our horizons.
Yeah.
Both literally and figuratively.
Mm-hmm.
And creating a future where humanity can continue to explore, discover, and evolve.
I think Stephen Hawking would approve of that message.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's funny, as we're talking about all this,
Yeah.
I can't help but think about how his own life defied the odds.
Mm-hmm.
Diagnosed with ALS at such a young age,
Right.
given only 2 years to live.
Yeah.
And he went on to live an incredibly full and impactful life.
He did.
It almost makes you wonder
It's that.
if maybe there's a lesson in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe it's about not giving up hope,
Mm.
even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges.
Right.
Maybe it's about the power of the human spirit to overcome adversity and achieve extraordinary things.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
Hawking's life was a testament to that, to the resilience of the human spirit.
Yeah.
And it's a good reminder that even when things seem bleak,
Yeah.
we can choose hope.
Yeah.
We can choose action.
Yeah.
And we can choose to create a better future.
Well said. I think that's a perfect place to wrap up this part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
from the dire predictions of extinction
Right.
to the potential for human ingenuity and collaboration
Yeah.
to overcome these challenges.
Exactly.
And in the final part of our deep dive,
Okay.
we'll explore some concrete actions you can take
All right.
to be a part of the solution
Yeah.
and contribute to a more hopeful future.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to our deep dive,
Uh-huh.
into Stephen Hawking's predictions. And I don't know about you, but I'm
Yeah.
feeling a real mix of emotions after that last segment.
Mm.
A bit overwhelmed by the scale of the challenges we talked about,
Right.
but also, strangely hopeful.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's definitely a complex landscape we're looking at. But I think that sense of hope is really important.
Yeah.
Hawking, despite some of his, kind of dire predictions,
Right.
he really believed in the power of human ingenuity
Yeah.
to find solutions.
Okay, so let's talk solutions.
Okay?
What can we as individuals actually do
Mm.
to, address these potential threats
Right.
and steer humanity towards a more positive future?
It's a big question.
Yeah, it feels like such a big question.
It is, but that doesn't mean our individual actions are insignificant.
Okay.
Think of it this way.
Okay.
Each of us holds like a piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
And, no one person has the whole picture.
Right.
But our individual contributions, when we combine them,
Yeah.
they can create a really powerful force for change.
Okay, that's a helpful way to look at it.
Yeah.
So where do we even begin?
Well, let's go back to those three main threats
Okay.
that Hawking outlined,
Okay.
starting with artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
The focus should really be on ethical development and responsible implementation.
Mm.
We need to ask ourselves, are we building AI that serves humanity?
Right.
Or are we creating something that could end up controlling us?
It's kind of ironic, isn't it?
What's that?
That Hawking, a brilliant mind who relied on technology to communicate,
Right.
was also so concerned about the dangers of technology.
Yeah, it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
It speaks to the complexity of these issues.
Uh-huh.
He understood the power of technology,
Right.
but he also saw how it could be misused.
Yeah.
And he really urged us to be proactive,
Okay.
to shape the development of AI in a way that aligns with our values.
So what does that look like in practice? I mean,
Mhm.
what can everyday people do
Right.
to influence the direction of AI development?
Well, for one thing, you can support organizations and initiatives that are working on ethical guidelines for AI.
Okay.
You can advocate for policies that prioritize transparency and accountability
Mm.
in AI systems.
Okay.
And as consumers, you can choose to support companies
Right.
that are committed to using AI responsibly.
So it's about being mindful of the choices we make,
Yeah.
even seemingly small ones,
Right.
and understanding their impact on the bigger picture.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, when it comes to gene editing
Yeah.
and this idea of creating superhumans,
Right.
the key is to make sure this technology is used responsibly and ethically.
This one feels really tricky.
It is.
On the one hand, gene editing has this potential to cure diseases
Right.
and improve human health.
Totally.
But on the other hand, there's the danger of creating a society where people are valued based on their genetic enhancements.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's a delicate balance.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to have these conversations.
Right.
About the ethical implications of gene editing
Yeah.
and to establish some clear guidelines.
And this would have to be a global effort, right?
Of course.
It's not something any one country can regulate on its own.
No, you're absolutely right.
Okay.
This is a global issue.
Yeah.
And it needs international collaboration
Uh-huh.
and a shared commitment to ethical principles.
Okay, on to the final threat then.
Right.
Contact with extraterrestrial life.
Right.
This one feels a bit more out of our control, doesn't it?
It does in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't control whether or not aliens exist
Right.
or if they decide to contact us.
Right. But what we can control is how we prepare for that possibility.
Exactly.
So what does that preparation look like?
Hmm.
Are you talking about, building giant laser cannons?
I hope not.
Yeah.
And training for an alien invasion.
That's what I was picturing.
Yeah. No, Hawking's message wasn't about militarization or anything like that.
Okay.
It was about approaching any potential contact
Right.
with intelligence and caution.
Okay.
It's about developing protocols for communication
Right.
and understanding
Uh-huh.
and recognizing that any alien civilization we encounter
Yeah.
is probably going to be vastly different from us.
Yeah, we can't just assume that they'll share our values or intentions.
No, absolutely not.
And, even if we don't actively try to contact them,
Right.
there's always a chance they could detect us.
Yeah. Through our radio signals or other technological footprints.
So it's about being mindful of our impact on the cosmos,
Exactly.
even if we're not actively looking for aliens.
Right.
Okay, so let's circle back to that final solution that Hawking proposed,
Okay.
space colonization.
Yeah, the big one.
The idea of, leaving Earth behind and establishing a new home among the stars.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing.
It feels both thrilling and incredibly daunting.
Yeah, I know you mean.
It's such a monumental undertaking.
It is.
It would require a level of global cooperation
Right.
and technological innovation that
Yeah.
we've just never seen before.
It would be amazing, though.
It would. It really would. But even if we could pull it off,
Okay.
wouldn't it just be a temporary solution? I mean, wouldn't we eventually face the same threats in a new solar system?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Space colonization wouldn't solve all of humanity's problems,
Right.
but it could buy us time,
Oh.
allow us to spread out,
Uh-huh.
diversify our resources,
Yeah.
and maybe even evolve into a multiplanetary species.
And maybe, just maybe, that extra time and perspective
Right.
would help us develop the wisdom and foresight to address these existential threats, more effectively.
That's the hope.
Yeah.
It's about expanding our horizons,
Yeah.
both literally and figuratively,
Uh-huh.
and embracing the possibility of a future where humanity can continue to learn and grow
Yeah.
and explore the universe.
I love that vision.
Yeah.
It's not about giving in to fear or despair.
No.
It's about embracing the challenges
Right.
and striving to create a better future for ourselves and for generations to come.
Well said.
This has been a really thought-provoking deep dive.
It has.
And I think Stephen Hawking would be proud of the conversation we've had.
I think so too.
He urged us to be curious, to explore, and to never stop questioning.
He did.
And I think that's the perfect note to end on.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Until next time.